My name's Rachel, and here on this channel I make videos about handcrafted items that I make, hand sewing, quilting, English paper piecing, knitting and crochet as well. So if you're a returning viewer, welcome back, and we'll just get it out the way. I'm sorry that I haven't made a video in a little bit. With running my own business and things, I am really busy come Christmas time and the run up to Christmas. So I'm hoping I'll be able to step up the videos a little bit more. I am going to start aiming for a regular schedule. So if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to subscribe. And I am going to start posting a little bit more on my Instagram, which is Stitch with Rachel. I'll leave the link to it in the description below. And I'll also say that I hope the audio quality is a little bit better on this video. I've purchased a microphone that I've just got here, just out of frame. So I hope that helps as well, because I know some people says I was a little bit quiet, and I do talk quiet. So what we're going to do is we're going to kick things off with finished objects, because I did finish a few things for me. By my standards, I've finished 2 projects that I've recently started that are a little bit more short-term projects, because that's the thing that I do. I take on long-term projects and then I get bored and I start another one. Okay, and I will also say, I think in my last video last year I said that I wasn't going to start any new projects. Well, that's out the water, and I've started 2 kind of what I would say is important projects to me, and I'll come on to discuss them. So I am going to be focusing on them a lot this year, I think. Maybe for the first few months. We'll see how we get on. Stay tuned. So we'll start off with finished items. Now, the first thing that I finished was for a Christmas present for my sister, and it was a English paper pieced hot water bottle. I've already given it to her, so I'll put some footage here at the side, hopefully. So it was a pattern by So Sweet Violet. It's available in her Etsy shop. She does also sell kits to it as well on her normal website, not on her Etsy. But I just used I think it might have been a charm pack, and I've just English paper pieced them, and then you finish it off with machine to make it into the shape. And that was a gift for my sister. She really likes earth tony colours, autumn colours, so I did it in her colour scheme. And then I haven't got a standard size hot water bottle, I've got like a small one. I think it might be a litre. So I scaled down the pattern. I didn't English paper piece mine, I just did it on the machine. So let me show you mine. So here is the one that I've completed for myself, and it's made with scraps that I purchased from the Festival of Quilts. I think they're Tula Pink fabrics, and I really like them. So I didn't aim to piece them 100% straight or accurate, and I do quite like that it's a little bit wonky. It kind of goes with the crazy vibe of the hot water bottle. It is a bit creased because I've been using it. Ooh. Should have took the water out. I've been using it most nights in bed, but you can see it's a really small hot water bottle. I think I might invest in a larger one and make myself a bigger hot water bottle cover. But it's so nice to snuggle with at night. I've hate to admit, but I don't put normally water bottle covers on. I don't know why. So yeah, that was my finish before Christmas. And another finished object that I started a couple of weeks ago and I finished fairly quickly is some plastic canvas coasters. Now, my local craft shop had them reduced for 10p, these the plastic canvas themselves. So again, I made them for my sister in her earth tony colours. Here's an image of them. And yeah, she's had those as a gift for her desk. She only asked for 3 because she has 3 places where she puts her drinks on a regular basis, so that's all she asked for. I did actually quite enjoy doing those. If I did them again, I would try and make the back a little bit neater, because the back wasn't very neat, and it stood up quite proud, so I couldn't put felt on the back, because then it really would have made the coaster stand up a little bit too proud. So they haven't got anything on the back, but she doesn't care. You know, if that was for someone who you would think might care, but she doesn't. So those are the only two finished items that I have. So I'll move on to my English paper piecing section. So like I said, I've started 2 new projects, and they're both EPP quilts. Now the first one I'll talk about is again from my sister. She's obviously put some orders in this year for some things, and she's just painted her bedroom. It was quite a neutral colour before, and she's gone for earth tones and things because that's what she really likes. So I've started, it was going to be a postage stamp quilt, but she's got a super king size bed, and if I wanted to make it any sizable size I couldn't have used 1-inch squares, so I've gone for 2-inch squares. So I think you would probably, to be more accurate, it's more of a checkerboard style quilt because that's the pattern that I've used. So let me get it out. So these are a couple of blocks that I've done so far, and as you can see I've sort of done it as light dark light dark. This one isn't very accurate because there are still some darks that are quite light, but she didn't want it completely dark. So there are still differences. That's a really nice fabric. I absolutely love this. So you can see here on this one you would probably say is a light one, but it is a bit darker than what I've put down as the light. So I think overall they'll blend in quite nicely, just like this one. This one's quite dark. She didn't want it to be too dark, the quilt. And I've only took the papers so far out of the middles. So what I'm going to, oh, dropped one. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to do about 50 of these and then join them together. I've worked out that it's going to be 1,500 squares if I want to make it super king. I don't know if I'll get that far. I hope she's not watching. Single quite size quilt she's going to end up with. What was I saying? I'm going to do 50 or so, and then I'm going to join them together, and then I'll start this process again, because with it being such a big quilt I don't want to leave all the joining until the end. But I want to get quite a few so that I've got good colour spread, because there's some oranges, some darker colours, and I kind of want those a little bit evenly spread through the quilt, as you would do. So these are 2 inches, so these are finishing at 9 inches. And I'm quite glad that I haven't done 1 inch, because, well, 4 would be in that square, wouldn't it, for 2? So I think it will go a lot faster, and I'm trying to stay to it, because what I find is historically I just get a bit bored and I move on and I abandon stuff. So because this is for my sister, I don't want to do that. Now her birthday's in September, so I think it's going to be next September that I'm going to aim for to get it done. But I've told her that it's both her birthday and Christmas presents that year, because I think I bought 25 fabrics, just 1/4 metre, and I've pulled quite a few from my stash. I obviously need more of the pale colours than the colours, so I've pulled quite a bit out of my stash that'll go. All I did was I went on to the Cotton Patch, which is a local company in Birmingham, but they ship internationally. They've got a fabulous website, tons and tons of stuff on there. They don't do in-shopping person, it's just on the website now. And they had a section called country vibes or something like that, and I just went through and I picked the ones that I thought she'd like. And I thought this one wouldn't go very well, but she really likes the bluey colour of it, so I've included it. And there is another one. Oh yeah, this one, she really likes this because I included that in her hot water bottle. So I think those 2 bluey ones do go quite well, and when there's more of them the colours will look more coercive, I think. Coercive? Is that the right word? Cohesive. And all I've done is I've just basted, that's a square, I've just basted a bunch of squares, I just do those when I'm at my desk if I've got a quiet moment while I'm working. And then they're just ready to sew on the eve. Now the next English paper piece project that I've started is something really special. You might have heard me talk about it previously in my plans, and it's actually a quilt made with my nan's clothes. I lost both of my nans last year in quite sad circumstances really, so I wanted to make a quilt only out of the one nan's clothes. I didn't have access to the others. That would have been really nice because they was very good friends. So I've started that, and I watched Emma Jones's video saying that if you're only going to get a few moments here and there of crafting, to have everything on hand, prepared how you need it. So I've put all of this project in this beautiful sewing box, and I just had this shoved in a cupboard with sort of like supplies and things in, cotton reels and things like that, and I thought, no, it's really nice to use this, especially with it being such a special quilt. If you follow me on Instagram, I made a video showing you everything that's in here. And now the quilt, first of all, her clothes that I got were more of bluey purpley tones. I think there was about 9 blouses of that sort of colour tone. They are cotton, but some of them are a little bit thin, so I'm just gonna try my best. I think once it's quilted and sandwiched and things, it should be fine. I only used small shapes so that it kind of held the shape a little bit better, I thought. And I needed to find a pattern. This is why I delayed so long. I think I've had her clothes since September. I've got 9 blouses or so, 1 neutral blouse and 1 pair of linen trousers. So that was all the neutrals that I had. And with patterns that I was looking at, a lot of them were more neutral heavy. So I was thinking about her grandmother's garden, but then I would have to do the outside, the pathway, and that would work out to be more fabric than the coloured. So what I needed was a pattern where the coloured fabric is less than the neutrals, if that makes sense. I hope it does. Let me show you what I've started. So I'm using diamonds. I think they're 60-degree diamonds. That's my favourite one. These two, you always saw her in those blouses. And I have got some photos of her in the blouses, so that's really nice. So blues, dark blues, that's navy blue, that is. Yep. And then these two are the neutrals that I have. So these are the shapes that I've made. And I've put these on because these are essentially like the pathway, and I'll only do 2 per block, and then they should match up together. So it'll go like that. That's another one. So that'll go like that. And then, does that go? How will that go? Yep, that'll go like that. I can't see, but I think you can see. I don't know if the video is a bit laggy, so I'm sorry if it was lagging there. And I've got all the points nestled nicely. I have ironed these because I did a video with them earlier. I love the back of English paper piece, and I don't know about you. So I've only done 3 of those. I think it will get easier the more that I work on the quilt, but at the moment it is a little bit difficult. It was really difficult to actually cut up the blouses. All I did was I cut off the sleeve of every one to begin with. Obviously I'm going to need more, and I don't know how big I will end up making it. I think I'll just go as much as I can. Yeah, I'll just go as big as I can, and then if I can't square it off, I'll probably just applique it onto a border. Yeah, I'll see how far I can get. and I'll keep you all updated along the way. Now, in other sewing projects, I have been working on this Scrappy log cabin. It's kind of like a bit of a wonky log cabin. Oh, sorry, I touched the microphone then. I'll try and add some footage so you can see, because I think the light is blowing it out a little bit. But I've just stuck these up there for now, but they will have a sash in, and do they call it a cornerstone? I don't know how to do either of those things, but I will learn in order to do this. And I'm just using up all of my springy type of colours. So I would like to get it done for this spring summer, because I think that's really nice to mark the season and get into the spirit. So I've been working on that on the machine. I have also really been enjoying doing my crochet baton bird blanket, which is just here. Now this is just done using commercially dyed DK. I think the light's blown it out. Let me pull the curtain. That does help a little bit, doesn't it? And you can see the colours a little bit better on that. So I think I've shown this on maybe the last but one podcast that I did. So I've been working on that quite a bit. And all I do is I just make up a bunch of squares. I try and do 2 or 3 of each colour. And then inevitably I leave the white till last and I get bored of doing the white. It is just a slightly off-white creamy colour. But I just do a bunch of those. And they're just... with Sandra Paul, this pattern is just her standard solid granny. That's what the back looks like. I do quite enjoy doing them. It's quite mindless, and you don't need as much on your lap when you're doing English paper piecing. So it's nice to just do if I've only got a little bit of time. I forgot to show you one other finished item. It's not really a project, but I decorated this little pouch. I actually had a ring delivered in it that was a Christmas present, and it had the shop logo here. It was only a small logo, but I've just covered it in some Liberty, and I used hexiform, so it has got a bit of shape. And in here I'm just keeping my stitch markers. I'm not the best at showing things, am I? So yeah, I enjoy doing that, and it just adds a little personal touch to all of your things, doesn't it? So it's very, you don't have to do big projects with English paper piecing. You can just use up any scraps and just personalise your items. Now, the last item that I have to show you is a knitted project / abandoned, gonna be frogged. So I have had the Rainbow Chronicles from Lay Family Yarn. This is the January one, or no, it wasn't January. I think it started in September. But either way, this is month 1, and it was the pinks. And in my mind, I wanted to do a what do you call it? A mitered corner knitted blanket. And I'm new to knitting. I can do it, I've mastered it, but first of all, let me show you. Now I am still attached to the ball. First of all, I started using 3mm needles, which were too big. I didn't know that at the time. So this was my first square that I did. I quite liked it, but I didn't like the join. I thought the join here was really... let me see if I can focus it. Can't seem to get it to focus, but I just didn't like the join. I thought it was really gappy there. But I love the colours. I love the wool. Absolutely love it. So I thought, okay, let me try and go down a needle size. These were my mum's needles. I don't usually use straight ones. And so I used smaller pins. I'm still attached to all the balls here. I used smaller ones, and I really liked that join. I thought the join was a lot neater. And I started the pink, just to make sure I could join. But it's kind of made me lose my knitting mojo a little bit. I think it was all these practices that I've had to do, and also, I don't know, I think it might be because I'm not an avid knitter, but to me this isn't mindless knitting. And I guess when you're new at something, it isn't mindless, is it ever? You need to have muscle memory. But I also really struggle with frogging. So if I do it wrong, I really don't know how to frog it, and I feel like it sticks out like a sore thumb. But now I'm looking at this, I do quite like it. I think I followed the tutorial of Craft House Magic. I followed Craft House Magic's tutorial on making the square, and then So Sweet Violet had instructions on how to neaten the edge, and I really think I did manage to perfect that. I'd have to look at what refresh myself on these, but I don't think I'm going to continue, because I think I might do the crochet granny stripe, because I also want to use everything that I've got, because after doing 2 squares I had that much left, so that's probably like a gram, and what am I going to do with that? So I want to use everything. But what I've also learned in the last year is that I do like mindless projects. Things that I can just sit in front of the TV, get out of my head, into my hands, and just create. Oh, sorry, I touched the microphone then. So yeah, I like mindless projects. So I'm not sure. I've left that for now. But what I'm scared of that project doing is putting me off knitting. So I do perhaps want to try and find something else that I can knit, because I want to learn to knit socks. But right now I'm thinking I don't want to knit socks, because that seems too hard. If I can't even do that square and be happy with it, I feel like the socks are too hard. Give me reassurance. So anyway, I've really enjoyed the projects that I've started, and I really do hope to update you. So do stay tuned to the channel. And thank you so much for being a returning viewer. I really appreciate it, and I know that I'm a little bit sporadic with my content. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a brilliant crafty week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.